The day Santa broke his own rules, a story of betrayal and redemption. Every child knows that Santa Claus is the ultimate symbol of goodness and generosity. But what if I told you that there was a night, one unforgettable Christmas Eve, when Santa almost lost it all? A night when he broke his own sacred rules and risked losing everything he stood for. This is a tale of betrayal, redemption, and the moment that forever changed the fate of Christmas. The North Pole, Santa's workshop at dusk. Our story begins on a cold, clear evening at the North Pole. Inside Santa's magical workshop, elves were bustling around, putting the final touches on millions of presents. But Santa Claus, the beloved bringer of joy, was troubled. For centuries, Santa had followed a strict code. He only delivered gifts to good children and never interfered in the lives of mortals beyond leaving presents. But this year, something felt different. A series of unusual letters had arrived, pleas for help from a little girl named Emma. The letter, a cry for help. Santa opened the letter with trembling hands. "Dear Santa," it began, "I don't want toys this Christmas. I just want my dad back. He's been gone for so long, and my mom cries every night. Can you help me?" The letter was short, written in a child's unsteady handwriting. Emma's father had disappeared, taken by a wicked man who lived in the nearby village. A man who made a fortune by ruining others. This wasn't a request for toys or sweets. This was a desperate plea for hope. Santa knew that stepping in would violate the fundamental laws of his existence, but Emma's words haunted him. That night, Santa did something he'd never done before. He left his workshop, not to deliver gifts, but to seek answers. The forbidden visit to the village. Santa's sleigh landed softly on the snow-covered streets of a small, sleepy village. He walked quietly, his presence cloaked by magic. As he approached a dimly lit house at the edge of the village, he felt a chill run down his spine. The house belonged to Mr. Grimsby, a man known for his cruelty and greed. Whispers among the village folk said that anyone who crossed him disappeared. Santa peered through the window and saw Mr. Grimsby sitting by a roaring fire, a sinister smile on his face. In the corner, a young girl was tied to a chair, Emma. Santa's heart sank. She had been taken as leverage against her own mother, who couldn't repay the debts forced upon her by Grimsby. The confrontation. Santa knew he was breaking his own rules by interfering. But seeing Emma's tear-streaked face filled him with an anger he hadn't felt in centuries. He stepped into the room, his presence causing the flames in the fireplace to flicker wildly. Mr. Grimsby jumped up, eyes wide with fear. Who are you?" he stammered. "I am Santa Claus," Santa replied, his voice low and filled with power. "And you have done something unforgivable," Grimsby laughed, his fear replaced by mockery. "Santa? What are you going to do? Give me a lump of coal?" With a wave of his hand, Santa released Emma from her bonds. "I am not here to punish you in the way you think," Santa said. "I'm here to make sure you understand what you've taken from this family." Santa took a deep breath and summoned a vision, one that showed Grimsby a future without Emma's father. It was a bleak, desolate future, one where Grimsby's own greed led to his downfall. Santa's dilemma. Santa had broken the first rule, never use magic against a human. He knew that when he returned to the North Pole, there would be consequences. The elders, ancient beings who governed the laws of Christmas, would judge him for what he had done. But when he looked at Emma, now safe in her mother's arms, he felt a warmth that outweighed his fear. He knew he had done the right thing, even if it meant giving up his role as Santa Claus. As Santa prepared to leave, Emma's mother, still tearful, approached him. "Thank you, Santa," she whispered, "but what about her father? Will he ever come home?" Santa paused, feeling a weight in his heart. Though he had saved Emma, the story wasn't complete. Using his powers one last time, Santa concentrated on Emma's father, who had been taken far away by Grimsby's schemes. Suddenly, in a swirl of magical light, the door to the small house creaked open. There, standing in the doorway, was Emma's father, disheveled but alive. He had been held captive in one of Grimsby's secret warehouses, but Santa's magic had led him home just in time for Christmas. Emma ran into her father's arms, and for the first time in months, the family was together again. Back at the North Pole, Santa stood before the elders. Their faces were stern, their eyes cold. "You have broken the sacred rule, Nicholas," one of them intoned. "You intervened in the mortal world beyond your duties." Santa nodded, accepting his fate. "I did it to save a child and a family," he replied softly. The elders conferred quietly. When they turned back to Santa, their expressions had softened. "The redemption. Though you broke the rule," one elder said slowly, You did so out of compassion and love, the very essence of Christmas. But let this be a warning, Santa. Your actions carry great weight, and your powers are not to be used lightly. Santa was given back his role, but from that day forward, he carried a new understanding with him. Sometimes, breaking the rules is necessary to uphold a greater good. As Santa flew back into the night sky, his heart was lighter. Emma's family had been reunited, and he knew that this Christmas, more than any other, he had truly brought the spirit of hope and love to the world. Conclusion. And so, on that fateful night, Santa broke his own rules. But he didn't do it for fame or glory. He did it because even the greatest of traditions must sometimes bend in the face of compassion and kindness. The day Santa broke his own rules became a legend, a reminder that the spirit of Christmas is not bound by rules, but by the love and hope we share with one another. But this story is just one of many that reveal the deeper meanings behind the tales we think we know. If you're curious to discover more hidden stories, ancient secrets, and fascinating characters from both well-known legends and biblical lore, then subscribe to Bible Chronicles and be a part of a community that loves to unveil the mysteries behind the most cherished stories ever told. Don't forget to like, share, leave a comment and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. Thank you for watching, and remember, sometimes the smallest act of kindness can change everything.